Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning, and today we've got another really interesting combo to try out with a shell that's been a little bit on the picky side so far, but it is a pretty unique shell and I think it's got some good potential in it if we can really dial in the right choke combo that it really likes. We've seen some promising results, but nothing I would call ideal based on what the shell is and what it can realistically perform like. So we'll see if today's gun and choke combo might be able to dial it in just that little bit more. Before the shells I've got today, big thank you to Keith and the guys at Salt Creek for sending some of these over. It kind of surprised me with sending some of these, but I did kind of have my eye on them to potentially pick some up and try them anyway. But they sent us some of these new Salt Creek cold turkey blend loads. The blend shells aren't new to them, but these ones are a 12 gauge, 3-inch, 2-ounce payload of TSS 10 shot with lead 5 shot. Pretty interesting blend combo there with that little larger lead pellet and the smaller TSS pellet. Pretty interesting concept, at least in theory anyway. But we've tested these shells a couple times here recently with some solid results for what they are, but nothing quite perfect yet. Now these are probably gonna be kind of on the fence for most people. Some people might like the idea of what these can bring. Others might just prefer a full-on lead or TSS option. Either opinion is perfectly fine. Blend shells can be picky to get the pattern right in the first place, and you really got to find the choke they like. And with these, I think they're pretty close to $40 a box, so kind of split the difference between lead and TSS. I don't expect Longbeard XR lead patterns or full-on $80 plus a box TSS patterns, but if we can get that nice, even, circular, uniform 18-inch spread or so, I think that's going to be what we realistically want to see out of these. So we'll see what they do through today's combo. But for our setup, I brought out the Remington 1187. It's got a 28-inch barrel on it, and we're going to be running this Indian Creek 665 today. On their website, they recommend a Pattern Master 665, which we have already tested, and that has probably been the best performing combo with these shells so far, but we'll give the Indian Creek a shot and see what it can do, since we know it's a really good performing choke. But for today's test, we're running everything the same as usual. The turkey target is set up at 40 yards, and we've got the chrono to get our velocity. So let's get you guys a view of that target. We'll take our shot, and we'll see what these TSS lead number 5 and 10 blend shells can actually do through the Indian Creek. I've got some decent hopes, but I think it's going to come down to whether the shell likes the choke combo or not. So let's take our shot and see what we're able to get. Okay, that shell gave us 1,068 through the chrono. There's no claim specifically on the box, but if I can find it on their website, I'll pop it up on the screen here. Either way, right about mid 1,000 feet per second mark is what we have seen from these shells consistently. I think we had 1,048, 1,056 or so out of our last two shots. So this is seemingly the normal for these, and it is enough to do the job out to 40 yards for sure. But did they actually pattern well down there or not? Let's go check it out and see. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and we definitely see some pretty interesting results. Right off the bat, yes indeed, we definitely favored low, and these shells have probably been the most picky shell that I've ever tested, with actually impacting the same as where most other shells typically would through a shotgun and choke combo. We have yet to get a good centered up hit in all three of our tests with these shells. We've been high, we've been left, and now we've been low. So if you want to run these shells, it seems like you're really going to have to zero your setup or have a good idea of where it impacts if you're running a bead sight with these, because they are definitely impacting in different locations than what we typically see, because I am never low with that 1187. But yes, we do have a dead bird. There is one of those lead 5s through the brain, as well as a TSS 10 that hit just below the brain, and obviously you would have filled the body on that particular shot, so yeah, it would have killed the bird at 40 for sure. Now looking at the pattern as a whole, it's still much more on the broad and open side. So I don't think that Indian Creek actually choked it down any. If we go to where our core is, we really don't have any super hot noticeable core, but it's right around the bottom left corner of that turkey target. It's just a pretty even spread overall. There might be a little void just up from the bottom corner of that turkey target to the left of it there. Not anything major, but it's still about the same core looking area that we've seen from these shells with the past couple combos that we've tested. It's just a more broad spread. I did try and mark different size circles around the different size pellets so you can see the difference as well. Larger circles will be the lead pellets, smaller circles will be the TSS, and we do have a pretty decent blend of them there as well. So it's not like we completely blew one size pellet all over the place. So for the main, say 18 inches of the pattern there, not really much of a difference. That's pretty typical for what we've been seeing with these shells. Around the edges, we definitely have our fair share of scattered stuff. There's lead and TSS all over the place. Quite a few lead pellets over here off the right as well. So that might be some of the most sporadic scattered stuff we've seen from these shells so far. But overall, I'd call it pretty much same as we usually see, just a much more broad pattern. I don't expect Longbeard XR lead patterns, and I don't expect $80+ a box TSS patterns from these shells either. Somewhere in the middle is about what I expect to see, and I still don't think this is the perfect combo for these shells. I think we can do a little bit better. At the very least, even if we keep this central spread, if we can condense all this flyer and stringer stuff around the edge down to a pretty nice even 18-inch spread or so down here, that's really what I want to see from these. So we still have some testing to do. Blend shells can be picky at the best of times, so you really got to test a bunch of chokes and see what they like, because eventually you'll probably find one that is clearly the best performing combo. They suggest a Pattern Master Code Black Turkey on their website for these, and we have tested that combo with pretty similar results to this. So this is definitely still nothing super special or nothing to write home about, but it's not a bad pattern either. I know there's people that are kind of right in the middle of the road there. They want something a little bit better than lead, but they don't want to pay the full-on TSS price and stuff like that. For those people, this might be an intriguing option, or for the people that shoot their birds in close and prefer a little more broad of a spread, but still want to have those TSS pellets and not have a super screaming tight spread, this might be an intriguing combo for those guys as well. But overall, I think I want to see a little bit better out of it. Of course, it's capable to 40 yards for sure. If it's the shell that was handed to me, I would absolutely hunt it. But it's not perfect either. I think we can dial it in a little more, whether we try a little bit tighter choke, maybe 660, maybe a little less choke, 670, 675, something like that. Either one could work out well with these and dial it in a little bit, but we'll see as we continue testing them, because this isn't bad, but we still got some refining to do, I think, with these. And here is the wad from that shell. I believe this is one of those ballistic product LBC low bore contact wads. We know these have a very good reputation on the channel for performing well, so we know it's a good wad. This one actually didn't even open up. Typically these petals kind of break apart at these tiny little seams up here and open up a little bit. This one did not do that, but we have nothing stuck down in there, no major damage or anything. You can tell it went through an Indian Creek choke with all the vertical lines from the porting that choke has, but overall nothing too special or out of the ordinary to see, other than the wad not completely opening the petals up like it typically does. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that performance right there? It's not a bad pattern by any means. It's plenty capable to 40 yards. And we know these shells aren't going to be just that super tight, screaming baseball looking core. They didn't light up the pattern board by any means, but that is still a perfectly adequate enough pattern to do the job. It's nothing fancy, but for those people that would be interested in this shell, it's going to do the job, and it is capable to 40 yards or so. Do I think we can get better out of it? Yeah, I definitely do. I think we need to try a few different choke constrictions and see what happens. Maybe if we tighten the choke down a little, we can bring in those edges, or who knows, maybe if we go to a little bit more open choke, since this is a blend shell, it might give them a little bit more breathing room to do what they want to do. We know we've got a good wad. We know Salt Creek can make a great shell, so we just have to do more testing with them and figure out what choke combos they really like, or if this is just the realistic limit of them. Guess you can leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Salt Creek blend shells, and if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is this a pattern or a combo you would hunt with, or would you prefer something like a Longbeard XR lead load, or a full-on TSS load with those screaming tight patterns? Or are you somebody that falls in the middle where this could be a pretty intriguing option for you, and you're perfectly happy with that kind of pattern? As well as maybe what other choke combos do you want to see us run those shells through? Got a couple of them left, so let me know what you guys might want to see. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All the information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.